Good morning, good afternoon. Thank you for being with us. Our third webinar in the course Introduction to Love School. And in the first webinar, we put the base, we put the foundations, and we said love needs a wider container, a wider vessel. So we talked about community, and we also talked about the need to go back to the commitment to truth in love. So this was the base. And then in the second webinar yesterday, I feel like we looked also behind, we looked to where we are coming from, the history, the patriarchy, and we acknowledged the collective trauma that we all carry and the decision which is needed to step out of this history in order to create a new history. And today, our third day together, we are ready to start to look to the future, to build together these new architectures for love, and to zoom in and to look to how we shift from fear to trust, from jealousy to solidarity. Thank you, Babette, Sabine. Today we can already say Babette, and with Benjamin we can say Ben. Thank you for being with us day after day. I know that it's also a lot to hold. Thank you for being with us, staying with the issue. And thank you, beautiful people that we see on the screen. And yeah, thank you for creating this common vessel for learning to end war. Thank you for being together. And we want to apologize for the study platform that we use for the course, that we try to use for the course. As you noticed, Sutra made a change, made a renovation actually in the last weeks. And this had a major effect on the way that we can hold the content of the course. And it was so challenging for us, I guess also for you, that we decided to step out of using Sutra for the next days, weeks for this course. And if it will be possible, if it will be stable again, we will use it. But we want to make sure that all of you have access to the important tools of this course. So from now on, the questions for the next webinars can be sent to us by email, like in the good old way when we use email. So please use online education@tamera.org. The way that you communicated with us till now, please use it in order to post your questions for the next webinars. And we will post the recordings of the webinars also by email, so everyone have access. And again, if Sutra will be stable again, or if the mistakes will be fixed, we will use it also because it gives us more possibilities of communication with each other, feedbacking each other. But for now, we know that we have these two options to be on the safe side. And apologize, it's not in our hands, and still we feel bad that our communication is limited. So I'm sorry. Thank you for your contribution on the chat before this webinar started. And among all contributions, we also learned a new word, compersion. Compersion. What is compersion? It's a new word, which is beautiful because new word means that we have new elements in our cultures that needs new words. And it means to be happy when your partner have joy with others. What a beautiful word, compersion. Thank you for learning new words and creating new words and stretching the spectrum of feelings and possibilities as human beings. Compassion.
Yay.
And last thing for communication, if you want to have more questions for today, we already have almost all the questions of today, and still, if we have maybe place for another question or two, please post it in the chat. And if you need any support, if you need communication with us, please communicate with Ruth, who will now raise her hand and open her camera so you know how she looks like behind the screen. Hello, Ruth. Thank you. Yes, yesterday Ruth was holding the chat here. Today she's holding the chat over there. And thank you. And I also want to mention Yuval is holding the cameras and sound and light. Thank you for being with us. And today we have also Avichai and Bettina sitting with us in the IGP. So some of the participants of the course are also sitting with us, which gives us good feeling that we talk to human beings. So welcome. Okay, before we go into the matter, to bring us all, I ask you to put your feet on the ground, to feel your connection to Mother Earth, and maybe with your head to feel your connection to heaven, to sky. The last days we have a lot of rain here, so we connect to the clouds and the miracle that comes from the sky. I invite us to focus on our breath, to breathe in, to breathe out, and to take a moment of gratitude just for breathing. Thank you. I always find it a small miracle to hold silence in a Zoom meeting, in an online situation, just to stay together without talking. So thank you for being together, also in this moment. Now we can open our eyes and we say hello. Mm-hmm. And first, before I bring my questions, I want to ask if you have any thoughts, general thoughts, specific thoughts about this issue, from trust, from fear to trust, from jealousy to solidarity, if you can open the space for us.
Fear to trust is like the whole thing. If we manage that, we are good. And the little sub-chapter from jealousy to solidarity, some of the most important in that part is, now I come again with the distinction. We can say solidarity and jealousy, and Sabine said that yesterday. I think she always then quotes Liz Taylor, when he, then I kill him. And this acceptance that jealousy is actually not part of love, very simple, is really important to me. And to many times to understand that and not just say it, but actually feel it, we need solidarity with others, because when we are in it, we fully believe that this is our way to love and our right to suffer from something we don't get or somebody else's gets. But for me, this is a really, really important distinction again. Yeah, and I think we will talk more about it, but that's my opener for now.
When you are asking me, for me at once there comes this memory where I was in Malta and listening to the voice of the earth, listening to tribal wisdom. How did people live before this kind of fear existed? And I still remember this very crucial moment when I had this inner insight, and it was like an instruction: leave fear, it's a decision. And I asked myself, what is this about? And since this time, I'm more aware how deeply our normal life is driven by fear. And there is an instinct which is natural, but this I would not call fear. But there's something which is always in this life structure where we want to protect ourselves, where we have this feeling we have to build security around us. And all our societies are driven by this. And what does this mean? Leave fear and enter to trust. And this is since this time, I have this like a kind of seismograph for my inner life. And asking of jealousy, I think, I don't know people who really don't know jealousy. I think jealousy is part of our social structure everywhere. And it's a very painful feeling. And nevertheless, there's a big decision, a big difference whether I say jealousy is my sickness, like asthma is not part of breathing, it's a kind of sickness, or whether I say I have a right. And to discover this, then we will see how often we are in this pattern where we have a demanding to our partner, and because of this, we cannot really share our feelings. And I don't want to judge jealousy. It's important that we are aware of this, that we know it's there, it's real in our life structures, it's very normal. But to say, okay, this is a kind of common sickness, and we want to figure out a way of healing. Yeah, this is my way of first to think about what is it, and then we can look in crucial questions about it.
Thank you. I already think about one of the questions that we got from one of the students, which is, what is the gift of jealousy? And you say that it's like a disease. I know also that our diseases bring us some information and push us forward. But anyway, we will come to this question, but just to say that we will connect it to this point. And before we bring the questions from the students, I want to come closer to your own experience and to ask you, Babette, what, from your experience, from your life, what helped you to move from fear to trust? When you find yourself in fear, when you find yourself in jealousy, what are the tools, what are the reminders that helps you? And for you, Benjamin, I want to ask, what was your worst jealousy attack in your life? It doesn't bring a smile to your face.
Okay. Wow, what a memory. All right. Yeah, it's good. It's a memory. It's past.
I will say it when you answer, but thank you. We start with Babette.
Okay. So the first of all was, I'm touching the issue of jealousy now because I loved my first partner in life really deep. I still remember this moment when we fell in love. And I also remember how jealousy destroyed our love relation, because I noticed a moment where I was not able to love anymore. And this was the poison of jealousy, and we did not know how to solve it. And for me, the beginning of the start of this project was that I recognized this is not only a personal situation, it's worldwide. In the kind how our society structures love, jealousy is a very natural part. of it. And now your question to me personally, how did you overcome fear? This comes to a very universal part. And just there I come to this point, what is conducting my life? And especially when I traveled to very challenging life situations where I knew maybe I won't come back alive, then you come to this awareness that there is something, a higher order, where every day can be your last day. And by finding peace with this, I still remember when I wrote a letter to the community, what should the community do if I won't come back? And I felt such a deep love. I felt such a compassion to all the people who are around me. And this changed my daily relationship towards them. And this conducts still my life. And for me, it was very, very important, this spiritual moment. I remember a very crucial moment when I was in Germany traveling. I was on a way to a mountain. I wanted to visit someone, and there was a lot of snow, and I could not go to the place where I wanted to go. And there was only a tree where there was a bit of light. And I lay down and thought, okay, I don't know whether I will find my way now back or not. And this was such a crucial moment where I felt embraced from the universe, and I did my prayer. I want to live. Please give me guidance. And then miracles happened, that I felt that I did find shelter and things like this. And I had many life situations where I was very close to death, and where I felt, as long as I really, as I'm in contact with the higher universal powers, I will be guided. And this gave me trust. And this still is giving me trust. And I'm not beyond fear. Very often I have fear. And then I use the time and check, where am I attached? Why am I attached? To what am I attached? And where is my trust? And in the core, do I believe there is a punishing God? Or do I believe that there is divine love in the center, and that there is an eternal school which will guide all of our souls? And this is a learning.
Thank you. You mentioned the fear of death, and I want to bring it closer to the issue of love and sexuality, knowing that also there, sometimes we face almost the fear of death, or it feels so existential as if. And maybe you can give some examples of what does it mean for you, the fears in love and sexuality, and also the overcoming, the transformation of them into love and solidarity.
In a way, noticing that I can't own anything. I can't own a place of the earth. I can't own my house. I can't own my car. I can't own my partner. All these are illusions. And we have a guidance in life. And there is the connection to the universal powers which are guiding us. And there I notice, for example, with the love partner, we are so often full of fear of loss. But why? If I believe in love, why am I fear of loss? And then I notice, wow, it's a separation thought in the center, which we can learn to overcome. If my partner loves me, if I love him, we will be guided. And then something where there is before trying to build the borders, suddenly there is something where you want to know what it is. Why do you want to go now there? And noticing he will come back if we trust into love. And sometimes there's also a natural way of separation, and we struggle with it. And I still remember a moment when I really thought, now it's over, my life is over. I was in the ocean with the whole group, and I gave up. And I was in this moment where I felt, okay, this is how I die. And then I knew it was like the deepest prayer I ever did. I said, there's still a lot where I have a reason to live. Please bring me out. And in this moment, a wave came from the ocean. And do I believe, is there divine power in the ocean? Is there a synchronicity between life powers and me as a personal being? And we were brought out all. But the fear of death was away. And this was the moment. I struggled before. I had fear. I struggled. And then I gave up. And in this moment, when I gave up, the life powers came. And they know whether they call me to the other side or whether they say, yes, you have still something to fulfill. I hope it answered your question.
It's answering in a beautiful way. It's
Thank you. Thank you.
Open the space, the universe. Thank you.
Thank you.
And Benjamin, I want to tell the students that there is a platform of short videos coming from Tamara. The name is Transformation Diaries, and it's short videos, 2-3 minutes, and one of them is, I think, 8 minutes video of you telling your journey through jealousy, which is, for me, is a very important and deep study material. So I feel that through your deep journey, you can give us diamonds from the darkness, we say, or at least diamonds from the jealousy. So yeah, it's not only about the drama of the attack, it's mainly about the insights and what helps you to come back.
But your question now is, what was my worst jealousy attack?
Yes. And what did you bring us back from there?
So I don't know whether it's my worst. What came to my mind probably has to do with this building, because one of the pretty bad ones was not in this building, but around this building, the IGP, where we sit right now. And it was a time when actually Sabine and my partner Vera and another group of people and befriended shaman traveled to Nubia, and they did like actually a love school journey. And I know that my partner had at least a crush, if not a deeper connection, to the man traveling with them. And he also had resonance. And I decided actually to stay here. I actually was planned that I come along with this journey, but I made the decision, no, I'm not gonna go into that, but I'm gonna stay here. And I already had come to the point that I cannot face jealousy and comparison in the midst of the drama. So I said, like, I will use this time to actually build substance. This will be time for myself to build ground instead of being in the friction the whole time. No signal. Okay. For a long time, do I need to repeat anything? No. Okay, so we are on. And then they were traveling. I dreamt of it. And then there was a chance. It came from a love impulse that I really wanted to talk with Vera. And so we arranged a telephone call, and we had a telephone call. And why it was the worst, I already had accepted that jealousy is not part of love. So I was not in this delusion, oh, I'm so jealous because I love you so much. Like, I really also didn't tell myself anymore. So I had gone through that and knew, okay, I'm really standing in fear when I'm in this jealousy, and it's irrational because most of it is projection. Most of it, like if your lover is gone for 2 hours and meets another person, and you know it's about sex, then you're somehow connected to a reality. But if they are gone for 10 days and you don't know what they are doing, and you think all the time of the worst, and then you discover, wait a second, the worst that I believe they are doing is actually the most beautiful that I would like to do. Really, I mean, you start projecting that they do all the things that you would like to do. Otherwise, why would you think that they do this and that? And like, I'm not going into details now. You have your own fantasies. But this discovery, wow, this is actually things that I would like to do. And then information in this case. I mean, really information. So you are sure that they are making wild and passionate love just right now, and your whole system goes crazy and you're on fire. And then later they tell you, actually, it changed. We came together and we both were really tired. We laid down and had a nap together. And you go like, wow. And all this energy, when you were so sure, you felt, you know that? Maybe you know that. I feel that he is making love to my woman. I feel it. And then you get the information, it wasn't the case. So what did I feel? Something to contemplate. What am I feeling there when I feel so connected? And anyway, I arranged this phone call, sorry, the experience. I arranged this phone call and she was and asked her, so what's going on? And I noticed already she started to speak and I had zero capacity to listen. I was only interrogating her to confirm my projected fantasies. I mean, and she said like, no, just the energy, observing myself in that energy. And then she actually did come to the point that I was waiting for, that they had made love in this hotel, and that they opened the whole love temple actually in this hotel in Egypt. Actually a very, very beautiful scenery, I must say, but I wasn't part of it. And then came the point that she spoke and I was seized by another power. I could not hold it. I knew all this. And I actually, which I hadn't done for 10 or 15 years, I hung up. I hung up. And somehow this was a real breaking point in me, because I felt like, okay, so who is controlling me now? And I noticed something in me is still witnessing, but something in me wants to hang up to let her know how much he's hurting me. And I think it was the last time when I had the possibility that I decided for war. You know, this love school is about ending war. And this was my decision for war. Of course, I can say I couldn't because I was hurt and my emotions, but actually I could, because I had this other awareness present as well. And I hung up. And it was terrible. It was terrible because it was a wrong choice. And I knew it. And so since then, I've done, I'm not a constantly illuminated person who always does the right ethical things. But in this moment, when I have both present, it was the last time when I so consciously chose war. Yeah, that was my experience. It was just a telephone and just a hang up, but it was bad in my heart because I knew this was not love. And I made her go to the telephone and change their process. I insisted to connect and I didn't. Yep.
Thank you. Thank you. I feel it's very powerful to hear it from your own experience, yeah, that you describe also the war, but also the decision for peace that it comes from it, or the awareness that comes from it. Thank you for the revelation. And I want now to open the space for you, the participants, and maybe we do start with the question, okay, so why jealousy? Or why jealousy can be healthy, or why it exists? From where does it come from? And I gave the question already, but nevertheless, I want Mark, if you are with us, to bring it in your own words. Mark, if you are here, just open the mic.
Hi,
Hello.
I am here. Hello, hi. Excuse me.
Where are you?
Where am I? I'm in Wales in the United Kingdom.
Great. Is it snowing outside?
Yeah, it's snowing too. It's all icy. It's been snowing a bit. Yeah, it's very cold at the moment. Yeah. Yeah, I wrote that question today, and I originally started it very short, and then thought I really need to expand it a bit to give more an idea of what I'm thinking. But I guess the main gist of it is the idea that, okay, to have solidarity, this is what I was picking up, and which might not be completely accurate, you see, but my impression from it is like, oh, to have solidarity, we can't have jealousy. And I'm kind of questioning that, because it's like, okay, that's kind of my question. Like, oh, is that really the case? To have solidarity, we can't have jealousy. And I guess my response to that is like, oh, that's interesting. So if I was in that situation where we're going to have solidarity, it's like, oh, I've got some jealousy. My response would probably be to go, oh no, that's really bad. I must get rid of the jealousy, or it mustn't be there because it's going to break the solidarity, even just the experience of it. So of course, so it's kind of saying, okay, jealousy can arise, and of course it can be very damaging to respond to it a certain way, but also, is that always the case? Does it have to get in the way of solidarity? And I guess there's a broader aspect, because that would occur through all emotions. If there's certain ideas, this emotion can't be there because it's going to interfere with solidarity, then there's going to be, I can see it myself, it's like, whoa, hold on, I've got this emotion, you know, oops, there's a problem. And so yeah, I guess that's the question, yeah, in the broader sense.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mm.
For me, it's just very, very important it's not about hiding jealousy. And I said it before, I don't know anyone who doesn't know jealousy, because it's part of the system. And for me, the main point is, do I recognize that it's a sickness and I'm really wanting to heal it? And then I can be full of jealousy and still wish to find a part of solidarity. And then noticing how much jealousy can destroy a love relationship, then you will start to ask for support. You will start to ask for others to share that we can overcome the jealousy. And then we notice, how to say it, it's not personal. And for us, it was very, very important that we start to become aware that we are acting out of jealousy without noticing it. So thank you, Ben, for this very special moment, because normally one hang on without knowing what kind of war is happening in this moment. And then for us, it was very important to create stages where people can reveal their jealousy, for example, without that it's a fight in the relationship. And this is a very deep path. And I always say, in our society, it's natural, because if you are in a partnership and your partner falls in love to someone else, then in our society system, it's very natural to say either her or me, or him or, yeah. And to overcome this, we need fully new surroundings. And when I came into the project, I thought I'm not jealous at all anymore because I solved it. But then falling new in love, I noticed, no, it's still there. There is still comparison. And then to have an experience by the community building that you really notice your partner will not leave you when you stay faithful to your feelings. And for example, I remember moments when I was jealous and my partner said, okay, wait until it's over, then we can speak. Instead of this kind of, I have a right, and then we start to fight. So we have to build surroundings where we don't fight anymore, but we face it. And this is important for me, because if not, you start and want to become a hero, but this does not solve the problem. And for me, it was a very, very deep learning to understand, why am I jealous? What is the key? And there is often a missing self-love. There is a missing point where I feel someone has something what I don't have. But why should I have it? I'm a very special being, a special universal being. And by being interested and asking my partner, why do you feel such an attraction? Or I still remember when I had this attraction towards another man, what it meant to come home and to notice my partner is not like this, but asking me, what was it about? And by sharing, really sharing, the love became more and more and more deep. And this nourished our eros in a way where in our society you can't believe in. You can't believe that eros deepens by sharing your real depth of love. But it's not about overjumping the jealousy. And I feel, especially if you are in a deep partnership and you feel jealous, don't hide it, but say it and look for help. And then you can understand on a deeper level why, what is the reason, and how can I heal it? Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you. That already touched quite a bit, quite a journey. Actually, I want to take it apart a little bit. Jealousy itself. There's also this, the love school is also learning to end war. And in my understanding, where there is consciousness, there cannot be war. And so a lot about like ending jealousy or overcoming or letting go, whatever you want to place it, is to bring consciousness to it and what is going on. And Sabine mentioned some of the things already. And for me, I first want to say, I don't experience jealousy as an emotion. It is a concept with a cocktail of emotions. And for me, the biggest one was a fear of loss. It was an existential fear of loss that had nothing to do with my partner. And Uri said it in the introduction. There are these places where it really feels existential. And there's a reason for it. There is a reason that it feels existential because it comes from a very early childhood pattern that at an age when you get abandoned, what you experience as motherly love and heaven and security, and your mother abandons you, it's pretty lethal. It's in a way, it's, and now I say it's very simple. It's of course not simple to feel inside and not simple to overcome, but still there is a rather simple reason why it feels so existential, because there is some wiring in us that when we lose this person, this will be it. And it's really important to know that it is not to do with that person that we think we are losing. And it is so important to understand that, because once it's in me, I said it was fear of loss. And once that was triggered, I followed a program that would, and this I could rely on, 100%, if I stay with this program, I will be abandoned. It's like, it's called self-fulfilling prophecy. It's like one aspect of it in psychology. But the point is, I could observe in my life, once this fear was triggered and I let it conduct and rule my behavior, the result was clear. And then actually my fear had a right to be there because I will be abandoned. So for me, this kind of taking it apart is really important, because I am a grown-up man by appearance, and I talk to a grown-up woman by appearance, and I attack her with my existential fear that my mother leaves me, and she says, I'm interested to go out with anything. And this fear is triggered, and then I will follow the program. I will act in a way that she doesn't have a chance to stay. And that's really important to take on as responsibility. Yeah. The other thing that is really important, and also Sabine mentioned, it is comparison, like the medicine of jealousy. And again, it was the darkest, it actually was the darkest time of my soul journey, these 2 or 3 years when I was in total fear of loss, that my beloved would go away with this other man. And I discovered, yes, there are things I project from my fantasy, what I would love to do with her. And there are actually things that I project positively onto him. Probably I say that in these 8 minutes of transformational diaries, because it's really a core for me. I discovered qualities in him that were not what Sabine just said. I am me and he is him and so on. But it was actually, no, he's carrying qualities that I want to develop, that I felt, no, they are part of me as well. And I react with this incredible comparison, negatively clear, but positively, because he embodies things that I want to embody, that I need to embody to be myself. And once I started to say, okay, my path is to embody them, it was a certain spiritual orientation, connectedness, and discipline. And I actually went to a journey, had nothing to do with my partner. 2.5 months, I went out of Tamara on a spiritual journey, and I claimed some of this spiritual connection. And then I felt, and now the grip of fear is loosening. But it is because I went onto my path and invested into what I can and I need to contribute to this world. Yeah, this was a really important turn as well. Yeah, Mark, am I still a little bit with your question? Yeah, and there are more ingredients. There are more ingredients. For other people, I heard there's like sometimes, no, actually, you find out what are your ingredients in what we then call jealousy. Yeah. For now.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mark. I will continue. I feel this question opened a very tender place in all of us, also to see what is the gift from jealousy, but how to come to this gift without going to the dark side or to the comparison.
Oh,
yes, Benjamin.
Now I remembered Mark's question. It was about jealousy and solidarity in the same place. And there I want to add something. Because actually my experience is when I'm with my fear of loss, I can still be with solidarity. When I'm in jealousy, actually I experience that as a pretty dominant thing. And one thing I have to admit, when I was in jealousy, I was not in solidarity. I was not in solidarity with my partner. I was not able to see her. I also was not in solidarity with other men who might desire her and who have just as much a right to desire her as I do. So actually, in my experience, I have to say, no, it doesn't go together. And then when I start excavating what is my fear in it and like come to this softer parts, yes, they can be there and I can unfold solidarity with her, with myself, with my own wounded self, and with other people who are in the same place, because pretty much everybody else I know, it might have a different shape, a different taste, a different configuration, but at the core, it's pretty similar. And then I'm waking up to solidarity, which is also unbreakable, because if I know this is taking place in you and you and you all in me, then I come to a very solid level of solidarity, because then it's our common thing to heal. Yeah.
Thank you. I want to underline that you mentioned that it took you 2-3 years to come to this base of solidarity. And so it's not only a jealousy attack, it's a journey, which is also a reminder for all of us. It's a collective journey, it's a generational journey, it's an evolutionary journey. So each one is doing their own paths to do this shift. But yeah, it's probably, as we come from a very strong system of comparison, of jealousy, of fear, it might take a while to find a common ground and a new system that will allow our children to grow without these patterns. I want now to invite the next question, which is, I want to invite 2 participants to bring similar question. One is Alexis, and the other one is Roisin Collier. Roisin brought their question in Sutra, and Alexis brought their question now. So both of you can speak one after the other one, if you are here.
Yeah, I'm here. Thank you.
You are Alexis. Welcome.
Hello.
Where are you now?
I'm in San Juan Island, Washington State, near the Canadian border in America. So, yeah.
So good morning.
Thank you. So my question had to do with agreements, really. So if we have really solid agreements with a partner, agreements, yeah. If we have really solid agreements with a partner, that creates a container of safety, potentially, with the partner. And on the other hand, how is that any different than an agreement to be strictly monogamous? Right? Doesn't an agreement in general say, hey, you promised this, I now own that right with you? And is that really a path to minimizing jealousy, or is minimizing jealousy even the point? Right? Is it more about being in a state of kind of an enlightened state almost, where you say, hey, we're here in the moment as we want to be together, and I have no ownership, no right to expect you to come back even, right? And so, is it possible to be healthy in that situation as well, right? Is that really a realistic kind of way of being, or is that just so beyond where we typically are? So I think that's the essence of it. Yeah.
Thank you. And if Roisin Collier is with us, you can open your microphone and bring your own question. Probably they are not with us. And the question was, what are the agreements in Tamara? What are the tools that we use in order to allow this shift from fear to trust, from jealousy to solidarity?
Yeah, this is a very wide question, of course. And for me, this question of agreements, it's if we have the normal marriage, there are agreements. And I was a priest in church, and I knew I will never go to say a priest, because I know the people won't hold the agreements what they do in the moment when they are full of love. And so this for me is, we can learn to make agreements which are important to support our trust. But these are not some agreements which will stay the whole life. Or in my partnership where I'm just now, it took years to understand that we are really partners. And it was really important to again and again to adjust the agreements. Where are we in, and where can I trust in? And for me, this is what I feel so important. We never can say I own someone, but if you are in a moment where you want to know each other, it's very much important to know I can relay on the other one. And for me, there is one very important point: no betrayment. And even then, if it happens, I know it can happen, that you are in a marriage, for example, and suddenly there is such a high energy that you fall into this stream of where you suddenly have a very strong sexual encounter, then don't hide it. But this is how I would live, because I would love to be in trust with my partner. I know that there are others who make the agreement we don't tell things to each other. For me, this is an agreement which partners have to do. But I would say agreement is a helping energy. And if you suddenly feel, oh, this agreement is not real for me anymore, find solutions with your partner, with some friends, to share it. And then we will notice what fears are triggered and why. And by sharing it, and by on a deep level sharing it, I feel the trust will start to deepen. And so agreements make sense in making a trust relationship, but these are not laws. We are not living by building laws. And if you ask, how do you live with this in Tamara? I feel one point is that we have community, sharing in community, where we reveal things in a bigger circle and not only between the two partners. We have a women's circle where women can go or men can go. It's like an elders council. We have women's circle, we have men's circle, we have temple of love. We try to build many different forms that we learn to dare to share. And there we are still in the process. It's a shift where we are also in the question, how does the cultural building really work?
You mentioned Temple of Love. What is Temple of Love?
We have one place in Tamara where when we came to Tamara, we said, here will no one live. Here we will celebrate our sharings here, our public love questions. And sometimes we celebrate with the whole community, where even partners or people who are in a relationship beyond a partnership can invite each other in a whole space. This on a very simple way for a longer answer would be needed. Yeah.
Thank you. Benjamin, you would like to add also your own experience, your own agreements?
I mean, I agree with what Alexis said, that agreements will never completely heal us. And if we are on a path of healing, they need to evolve. Because actually, you mentioned the agreement of monogamy, and in many places, with the cultural foundations of trust and community we have, which I feel as very limited, to say the least, monogamy is probably a good agreement. Because if we are not culturally setting foundations to heal errors and to really invite this massive, anarchist, revolutionary, fiery energy into our culture and just say, okay, let's be free, it wouldn't all be cozy and nice because we are not set up for that. So agreements make sense, but it's really good to distinguish what you just did, Alexis, that they are not the truth and not the end of the story. And the agreements that Sabine mentioned now in the flow that we have in Tamara, for me, they are really meaningful to in transitioning towards a culture of freedom and healing. And now I will just take the chance to illustrate that this path of healing can never be ideological or linear, because in my path of healing, there was a time where actually Sabine's partner, Dieter Doom, and her, but very much him, said like, look, you and Vera, you need a time of monogamy now. And we both were like, before we were like self-indoctrinated with ideology that this is not possible. We only wanted each other at that time. We didn't want anybody else. When one of us went with another one, there was like always, it didn't feel right. But then of course we think, no, that's not part of our freedom. And again, I'm not talking about the demands that you cannot go. I'm not talking about this, but this feeling that something was not right. And he just said, you love each other so much right now. You need a container of monogamy, let's say for 3 months. And we both were like, how beautiful. And actually it was a moment, and he asked us, don't you agree? And we like, you say something, you say something. We both didn't dare. And then we actually dared. And it was such a deepening in the quality of letting go, of loving each other. So that was an agreement which was very unusual in Tamara and in our culture, but it was necessary. But it was connected to, sensitively connected to the truth of love in that moment. So this is what I would like to dedicate our agreements to, dedicated to healing, dedicated to transparency, dedicated to creating more trust. Yeah.
Thank you.
And I also speak that a little bit because I came in touch, in the beginning, there was this word compersion, right?
Yes,
Compersion. And it brought me, it resonated with a polyamorous theme. It brought that back to my mind. And there I came many times into, in contact with a world of agreements where on the path of liberating our cultural constrictions, or liberating ourselves from the cultural constrictions, it became such a jungle of agreements of what to do when and how to talk about contagious diseases and how to involve our partner with and I make that because this is not my idea of liberating it. And I'm not saying anything about the whole polyamory world, but just in transitioning from the cultural prison we are in, I think we have to be aware to put in good agreements, but stay simple and lean with it, because it can get very complex and then it's just another reproduction of our fear system. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you for the reminder that love free of fear can contain monogamy, which is also a habit or a thought in the polyamorous world or ideology of you're not allowed. No, this is part of the spectrum of love. So thank you for this very basic reminder, and also of putting truth as a basic agreement. And truth can change and be different, but yeah, this is the very basic agreement. Thank you. I would now shift us into watching together a video of the beloved of Benjamin, actually, the one who created the terrible jealousy attack. Now we will have the honor to watch a short video of her talking about dealing with jealousy and the shift from fear to trust. It's a 3 minutes video, and immediately after it, we will send you to breakout rooms in triplets with the question that Ruth will write on the chat and also broadcast to you when you are in the rooms. And the question is a space to reflect together in triplets about all what we shared in the last hour and the video of Vera. So you can choose your entrance just to digest these thoughts. How does it blend in you? What is your experience? What are your questions? And we trust you to facilitate the 15 minutes that we'll give you in the triplets. Is it a talking stick that goes from one to another? Is it a conversation? Do you want to ask questions each other? We will give you this 15 minutes, but first we watch the video of Vera. Thank you.
Well, I think I had like a whole journey of insights, I could say, and I with the man that I'm still together, that I call my partner, my soul partner, like many years ago. And there I realized, in the beginning when I fell in love, like every act that he made towards me was like, wow, really, he comes, he likes me, like it was all perceived as a gift. And then actually I could really observe how like this initial being in awe of the gift of being loved back turns like slowly into a system of where I expect that he behaves in a certain way. And that, yeah, so I realized certain thinking patterns that I have that are actually preventing the love that I long for from being manifested. And this was especially like the more he also really turned towards me and fell in love with me, and it was clear, okay, we really want to go for a deep path together, the more actually the fulfillment was so close of what I wanted, of what I longed for, the more I could observe how these patterns come into me. Like suddenly when he comes into the space and not first thing he looks at me, but maybe he greets somebody else, I'm like, hey. Like I realized if I just follow my conditioned behaviors now, I start acting in a way that I chase this love away again. And that was like a moment of wow. So I really thought I want to learn to think in a way about love and really study the logic of love, that what I long for actually can become manifest. And one thing that I learned very early or very fast was that I think love and trust are very much connected. And trust comes with truth. So I knew if I really want to love this person forever and ever, as you say, till the end of our days, we have to walk a path together where the more we are together, the more truth can be between us. Like very often when we fall in love, we kind of throw everything onto the other person. Like he has to be the fulfillment of our life and everything. But this also won't work. Like I can only lead a happy love relation if I also know why I'm on this planet and why I'm worth loving besides this one person loving me back. So this, I think, is also essential to walk the path of your own, how do you say, dedication, commitment, care for the world.
Together all around the world. And yeah, it was beautiful to see you together. And we want to collect another few more questions and then to come to our end. And also today, with some of the questions, we want also to dare to ask you some questions or to work with the issues, with the stories that you bring. And the first one to do it today is with Antje. Can you bring your questions, and also are you ready to talk with us, to make a dialogue? Antje, are you with us?
Hi, here, yeah.
Hey.
Hi. Yes. My question is, so I'm in a love relationship with a married man. Yeah, it feels exciting to say it to so many people. Yeah. And his wife, she doesn't want to talk to me anymore. And I feel really sad about it, because like I feel it's a very important point that she and me, that we are in contact with each other and talk as like from woman to woman to each other. And I think it's very important also like for the trust and solidarity between the three of us. And yeah, I want to ask how, like, what do you think about it, and how can we manage the contact and the communication between her and me? Or like, yeah, it's not about just her and me, but I don't have the right word for it. Like I'm the lover and she's the, yeah, I don't know how to say. Yeah.
And now my invitation to you is to imagine that Antje is stepping to a forum with this issue. So not only to answer, which is also part, but also to use this possibility to work with her or to investigate, to come to bring us to new lands with this study material, this study case.
Wow, this is challenging, but First of all, thank you very much that you share this. And for me, this is an example where I say, you are not the only one.
Mhm.
This is an issue. So many people on this globe are in this moment, in this situation. And very often the women even don't know from each other. And now how to deal with it. It's painful if you want contact and she doesn't want. And you cannot insist, you cannot demand. And how to deal with it. For me, if you would be in the forum now, I would invite you, speak to her as if she would be in the room with us and tell her from your heart what would be your wish. This would be a first moment. And we often do this in the forum where the person is not there and we put the other one in the center and we give our love declaration or our wish and if you would be able to do this now as a woman being in love with a married woman,
Mhm.
a married man, what would be your contact wish towards her? And often if we do it fully, miracles can happen. Would you be ready to do it now in this?
Oh. uh, yeah, I don't know what to like. Yeah, maybe I try, but
Thank you.
like I imagine I'm in a forum now. Is it? Yeah.
In a way, it's not a forum, but yeah, you could try to speak from your heart, knowing that by opening your heart in this moment towards her, it can have an impact to her.
Should I mention her name or like?
You can also choose another. You can play with it.
Okay, I choose the name Julia, and like Julia, I really wish to hear you and to feel you. I would like to know how you're feeling. I would like to know your fears, and yeah, I want to hear them and I want to feel you. Yeah, and yeah, I want to say that I really appreciate the relationship between you and him, your marriage, and I feel it's very important that your relationship to him and it's stable and and I want to say that I don't want to like go in between you two. I just want to live this love that I really feel to this man. And I'm really, really thankful that it is possible that we meet each other and that we can live this love that we feel for each other. I'm really, really grateful for this, that this is possible, and it makes me really happy and really was so good for my growth and for his, and it makes brings so much love into my heart, and thank you.
Wow.
I have a question.
First of all, thank you. It's really also for me a daring step to do it now without being in a protected space together. And what you spoke now, even that she doesn't hear it, or even that you are in your room now and is the unsolved problem. I feel it's part of solution. How you spoke from your heart. Imagine this kind of women's solidarity would really happen. And by offering this, and I think we often have to do this step that we know it won't be solved so quick, and maybe she doesn't, has fear or whatever. By doing this step, it's nourishing also you with your decision. And I want to recommend you the book, They Knew Each Other. This is very much about exactly those questions. And I think we won't solve everything in this lifetime. But while we go for this verse, what you now mentioned, I don't want to take him away, because this is normally the fear. And this is normally the reason why we are in competition to each other. But to figure out, yes, you are married, I honor your place, and I love this man. This is the cultural shift, to find ways. Thank you so much for sharing it in this way. Yeah. And you you said you have a question.
Yeah. Hello, Antje.
Hi.
Hello, hello. The Julia in me. Thank you for giving me that information that you don't want to have him for yourself. It's really relieving. And I have a question. Why do you want to be in contact with me? What do you want to do with me?
Like maybe I want to feel safe that like this is okay for you, like that we meet each other, and yeah, and I feel you are also like a part of him and all this, like a part of our, how to call it, our love system, I don't know, love, yeah, bubble or something. And often I think of you, and you are like with us, and yeah, I don't know, yeah, I just would love to hear you and to feel you. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, was very clear, landed also with me. I mean, with me now, with my Julia.
Imagine a system where this would be so normal. And for me, if I am in love with someone, for me, it's always that I wish to see the other ones who are around this person also happy. So if I am in a longing towards a man, for example, I'm normally heterosexual, not only, but if I have this feeling, and then I want to have more contact, I always try to figure out that the surrounding is also happy. And then it's very natural that you want to know about the other ones. And this is a system change, because normally it's not like this. And we had a journey to Brazil where a woman shared, which is living in a very normal family system. And she heard about Tamara, and she knew about her husband, that he is feeling attraction towards other women. And she was this married woman who always felt jealousy, and she even wanted him not to go out and so on. And then she told how she suddenly came in contact about a new system. And then she said, I had to know this woman. I had to come to know her. And she made a contact. And then she was still in this friction. Shall I say she or me? And then she noticed, wow, it's only a pattern, what I follow. And this was so touching for me, that a certain information changed her behavior. And she said, I love my husband. And if he has this kind of attraction towards others, I want to understand deeper why. And I think in a new system of a new culture, this all will become very, very normal. And we have to work with the pain. We have to transform it and to create systems. And how you shared it now, I would warmly invite you to write a letter to her with just this content. And then often there is no answer. Then we have to accept it. But maybe she will be touched by your words.
Oh, yeah. Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you for this magical moment of you and having the courage to bring yourself and all of us like this vessel. And often in a forum, we have clapping after a performance, we call it, or after a sharing, and we give mirrors. And I want to try. I saw that the chat was active with gratitude, and also some gave hearts. But now I ask all of us, all the container that was holding this moment, if your heart was touched by the sharing of Antje, please send a heart. So it's visible somehow that she is surrounded with our hearts. We go to the reaction now. Yeah. Yeah, I hope you see your beauty reflected in how you touched us. Thank you, Antje.
Thank you so much for your support.
And I want to continue with Clara, who's touching an issue that Antje brought, and also this word betrayal, and also the question of what does it mean to have love relationship with a married person. But maybe Clara, bring it in your own words.
Okay.
Where are you, Clara?
I'm in Cologne, Germany.
Wow.
Yeah.
I say wow because I lived a long time close to Cologne.
Yeah. I don't really have a very personal question with it. It was more that when Sabine shared something earlier, you said something about betrayal, and I was actually just in this context wondering, like, what really is betrayal? Like, there have to be agreements in the first place to betray, actually, no? Or like, there was just some confusion for me around this thing of betrayal, and if, yeah. So that's actually the question. What is betrayal?
Should I start? I feel normally we feel it in our heart. We feel that we have something in our heart what we cannot really share with our partner. And there's maybe an agreement and we cannot reveal it to him. Mostly it's because of fear. And for me, it's one of the most important things in a partnership or in a love relationship, that we can share our feelings, even that we feel, if I share this, what I feel right now with him or her, it will be hurting. So I have to find a surrounding where trust can arise. And I know so many love couples which had a very beautiful partnership. And often if, for example, they marry, they have, she becomes pregnant, she has a child, suddenly the man feels attraction towards other women and he doesn't share it. He is not able because he has fear. If I really reveal it, she will react very angry. And I have it with, for example, my daughter. She was in a very, very beautiful love relationship. She had twins. She gave birth to twins. And I still remember how the husband was touched by the birth. And then suddenly the mother is so much with the children, and then there comes a longing the man cannot share, and he betrayed her for half a year without sharing. She felt it even. She asked him, look, if you have the feeling you want to go with and share with others, let me know. But he did not. And then it's often too late. If you do this for a too long time, and then it comes to the surface, it can destroy relationships. And in this sense, to figure out, what do I have to share with my beloved one, that we can deepen our relationship. And we know it in our system. We know, when do I start to betray? And often it's not an action. I'm often in the thoughts. There is such a deep longing, and I'm not able to reveal it. And there I feel we can help to create a system change where we can learn to reveal those deep things. Even I can, for example, be in an agreement with the monogamy, and nevertheless, if suddenly there comes a feeling, oh, I have such a strong longing towards another partner, not a partner, to an adventure. You can stay in monogamy and don't need to hide it. So these are, yes, this, you can even use it in your relationship. But there you can discover where there is fear and why there is jealousy. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. I want to add something. Even though I fully agree with Sabine that we know when we betray innerly, still there is a big sense of betraying something when we do something which is actually right with the flow of life. And that is because I also feel we have so many unconscious, collective, implicit agreements around love and sexuality, which breed our shame and guilt around it. So I don't know how many of you felt like when you followed a free impulse and there was no monogamy, no agreement, and still something in you felt like I'm betraying the purity, the innocence, and there's also a lot to cleanse in this sense of betrayal, because I felt I had to let go of why do I feel like betraying love right now when what I do is totally pure and fine and transparent. And I had to face this layer of ingrained guilt and shame around it. And then the other thing is, when you start cleansing that, then what Sabine said is, in my experience, totally true. Then you know whether you're betraying a conscious agreement that you have with your partner or your community, your tribe, your culture. Yeah, so I want to put light on both. Yeah.
Thank you.
Can I maybe add something?
Yes, please.
Because I can resonate a lot with the hiding of something and the knowing of the, when it, in a way, like when it feels like betrayal, then I feel like not voicing it is the actual betrayal in a way. So there's something about the courage to go towards fear instead of hiding it. So I definitely resonate a lot with it, and more like it's not so much about the definition of an act, but more like the feelings and the shame and the hiding around it that actually makes it a betrayal, I guess.
Yeah.
So thank you.
Thank you. We come to an end, and still I want to have one more question that will take us from the betrayal to the love. And I ask Peter to bring your question, and from you to give an answer of a few sentences, just
Okay,
to open the space before we say goodbye. Peter, are you with us?
Wow, I'm surprised. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh, it's so good to be with you.
Where are you?
In small town Heckenbeck, between Göttingen and Hanover.
Ah, okay. Yeah.
And under my roof, in my house. Yeah, I had the following. The question was, we mostly agree that life is about change. Many things are changing all the time. And so to me, the question comes when it is about jealousy, behind the core question is, do you still love me? Do you still love me? And then in my experience right now, I was asking or even feeling that perhaps love, universal love and personal love was way bigger and more continuous than I perhaps think it is. As in, it might be from knowing from past experiences that it's me between my ears that breaks relationships, and that love itself perhaps is such a great continuum out there that that if I can grasp that, and I do that sometimes, yeah, and then my heart is wide open and there's no comparison, no competition going on at all. And still, it would be wonderful to have a little exchange with you about this, because I truly believe in this continuity. And still, some naive part of me is then saying, yeah, but Peter, it's all about change again, you know?
Thank you so much for speaking so personal and so much from all of us, I feel. And it was important for me to bring this question because I feel this is the question of this course. What is love? We also heard it from Rasa, I think yesterday or the day before, of what do we mean when we say love?
Oh, and this in short words, thank you first. The way how you shared, it was really touching, because I feel if we come back to this kind of trust, all the drama will disappear, because we know that life offers us a continuity, and there's even, we meet people and there is separation, but in love. But because of this fear of loss, we have so much drama. And I just try to mention a situation when my partner, for example, I knew he is really attracted to many women. And I knew it when I met him. And suddenly I noticed the fear of loss comes. And when I noticed, why is this there? Then I noticed, wow, I compare this kind of attractive women, and now I'm only the mother. I'm not interesting anymore. And he shared a dream when he saw a beautiful woman on a balcony and he wanted to approach to her and on his sexual attraction. And I was standing on the side and said, yeah, come, here I am. And just confirming. And when he shared this dream, I understood, wow, I have a deep belief sentence. In the moment when I feel only the mama or only the lover, I'm not interesting anymore. And this I had to change. And I knew it's a pattern which is so deep. And there is continuity in love. And this is also to discover our own deep universal nature. Who are we? And if I fear the other one won't love me anymore, let me look what I can develop in my own development, that I will be loved and that I love myself. Yeah, but it's a deep chapter, but just some words.
Can I mention something in there?
Briefly.
Yeah, that with my partner, I'm actually quite sure that she loves me. I feel it in myself, the insecurity that something will stay. It doesn't come from her. It comes from my past. It comes from the abandonment that I experienced, and so I really feel I cannot put it on her or on anybody else. But to really be in contact with what you say, this divine, something divine in me, which I know it's very stable, Yeah, I don't think that the universe goes on a trip out in and out of love. It's actually that I hope it is I think it is truly. It's pretty stable. So it's either me doing the separation, it's not anyone else, or not the universe, it's truly me. And that's what I have to face. And talking with you and being with you supports the trust in a very deep way.
Thank
So
you.
Okay, this beautiful moment of connectedness to you and to the universe, I want to ask for your feedback. I want to take a moment of reflecting on the last 2 hours and also on the last 3 days. We finished the first half of our course, the first weekend. We'll take now some days of break and we'll meet on Friday. And now we want to ask you, what do you take from this webinar, from the last 3 webinars? A friction point, a gratitude point, an insight. And we want to invite also some voices. And also, in order not to be in stress of time, I already want to say now that we will stretch another not more than 5 minutes beyond the time that we limited ourselves, just to give us calmness. And Ruth, did you post the question? So you can also read the question on the chat. And we invite people to share now in the big, beautiful vessel that we created together in these 3 days, especially people who haven't shared till now. We invite you to bring your voice. It can be critique, it can be gratitude, it can be a place of being touched and an insight. Now the stage is yours.
Can I share?
Yes, please.
Okay,
What is your name?
my name is Kelly, and I'm in the Northwest of the United States. And I just want to share that what's deeply alive in me right now is that I might never be healed, but I'm in the process of healing, and that I'm in a process, and that that creates so much freedom inside of me. And I'm so grateful for that freedom and the hopefulness and the inspiration that comes from it. And so thank you for all this work. And I just want to share this piece of art that I've been working on with all of you, just set a blooming heart with a light inside of it. And that's thanks to you, Tamara, and to the work and Benjamin and Sabine and Yuri. So thank you.
Thank you.
Beautiful. Greetings to the Northwest.
Hello. I just wanted to share that these past couple of days that we've been with each other, I think today's the 3rd day, I've been feeling this huge feeling of connectedness that I have never felt in my entire life.
Wow.
I feel really connected to each and every single one of you here, and it almost feels like we're all in the same room. Like I'm serious. It literally feels like the internet cannot disconnect us from each other. I feel so connected with all of you. So yeah, thank you, Sabina and Benjamin, and wait, I forgot what all of your names are. So Benjamin, Sabina, and yeah. So I just wanted to say thank you. I'm really enjoying this.
Thank you, Shelley.
This is Alan from New Mexico in the United States. I resonated, I moved with today. I found myself close to tears a number of times. I found myself in forum, in New Culture Camp, and in the forum, and witnessing what's alive for me right now, that I want to be transparent with my community in what Anja shared. So much what was described today in personal narrative and in understanding is what I have come to understand in my own relationships. Thank you.
Thank you. More voices.
Hello.
Yeah, Sasha.
Hello.
Hello.
I'm from Cyprus. And something that I was sharing in the group, which really crystallized for me today in the breakout group, was just a reflection of the power to witness and be in the presence of people that are so willing to walk the talk, because so much of what we talk about is theory or aspirational. We can feel this is possible, but actually in reality, most of us are not living in this kind of community, you know? So there was such a power for me today about, because everyone is on their own journey and no one's journey looks the same, but there's so many moments where you're like, yes, I have also lived that in my version. And it settles on a different level. You know, it settles on a different level, which gives me hope that I can also tread that path, you know, and I feel a lot less lonely and a lot less to hear people's stories and to see people, and the space that you've created for me is very specific to also what I felt when I was in Tamara and all the people that I met there. And this, of course, everything that the conversations and the discussions and the presentations were very impactful, but it was actually the environment, you know, seeing all the different people, maybe not always achieving, but aspiring to this thing, aspiring to honesty, aspiring to taking responsibility, living without shame. You know, this is such an ongoing process, but so powerful to be witness to, and it feels like real nourishment, you know, that it feels like such a precious gift. So thank you.
Wow.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And our last contribution will be from Francie. Thank you.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes. I wanted to say that I'm an elder, and my my true love died a couple of years ago. And so I have had this question in this seminar of, you know, are these issues even relevant to me anymore? Maybe they're all in the past for me, but the latest, you know, I got a truth from what Sabine said, that that's only a small part of who I am, that I'm an elder whose love relationship has passed. It's like only a small part of the big love that really I am. I'm like beyond that description of even being an elder. And so I can still hold the love inside me and be there with all of you. So thank you.
And become a grandma for all the youth people who need us as women or men or whatever we are to stand for this.
Yes.
Wow, this was very nourishing. Also the 2 hours that we spent together, and also to have this reflection and to feel you in such depth and openness. From Shelley, 19 years old, to our elder Francie, and all in between, and also all the voices that we haven't heard. Thank you for being part of this learning together. We will have now a short poll again, and Ruth can post it already. It's also to give from 1 to 5. 1 is terrible, 5 is fantastic. Your feedback for the last webinar. And another question that we added is about the video that we used. Was it helpful? Would you like us also in the next webinar to use a video? Yeah. So we collect now the data. Thank you for participating. Yeah, we have results.
Still coming. It's definitely yes for the video.
Definitely yes for the video.
And mostly 4 and 5.
And mostly 4 and 5 we see. Thank you so much. Now I'm very curious to go back to the first webinar to ask the ones who chose 1 and 2 why. But yeah, just to say we are open for your feedback through Sutra or through the email. And for now, we just say thank you. Thank you for today. Thank you for the last 3 days. For you to know, Sabine and Benjamin are continue now to a love school, internal love school that happens in Tamera. For people who live in Tamera, they will hold and participate in a love school for us. So thank you for your intense work. We will all meet on Thursday. On Friday. You don't see me for a moment, but you hear me. Here we are. We will meet on Friday, and the next webinar will be a bit different. It will be together with Ida Shibli and me, Uri Ayalon, and we will bring another perspective on love and sexuality, which is from people of color and queer perspective, to try to bring more diversity to this course. It's a trial, it's an experiment. I think we'll have interesting and good time together. And then we'll have another 2 webinars with Sabina and Ben about intimacy, about how it is not contradiction to hold free love and intimacy partnership together. This will be 1 webinar. And the last one will be about spirituality and why love is bringing us to the universe, or why love is coming from the universe, as Peter connected us to this thought. Thank you for now. Thank you so much. Have a good week. See you soon.
Ciao.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.
Love.
Thank you so much, guys.
Thank you.
So much.
Bye-bye.
Fantastic. Bye.
Bye.